Hello traders, thanks so much for watching this video. Today we got James Hughes from Scope Markets talking to us. And James, please introduce yourself and say hi to the audience.
Hello. My name's James Hughes. I am the Chief Market Analyst at Scope Markets. Nice to see you all.
Thanks so much for joining us, James. Can you tell us a bit about Scope Markets and how you guys started?
Yeah, of course. Scope Markets is a brokerage which basically kind of is based head office out of Cyprus, but its kind of origins are in London, in the city of London. So there's and in Istanbul, really. There's a lot of involvement from around Europe, but I have been of Scope Markets for the last couple of years, and Scope Markets is really, it's obviously a retail broker. It's a brokerage which is trying to grow its presence and grow its presence across the world, really. And one of our key areas is Africa. It's been such a booming industry in Africa for such a long time, and we have presence in South Africa. We have a presence in a licensed presence in South Africa, and a licensed presence in Kenya as well. So as well as a presence in Nigeria. So it's a fast moving company. Asia is a massive area for us as well, and as well as Europe, of course. But it's very fast moving, like a lot of these brokerages are these days.
So since most of my audience is from Africa, can you tell us why African traders should trade with Scope Markets?
Well, I mean, of course, what we know as a company, as Scope Markets, is that we know traders have choice, and that's key to a industry like the one that we work in. I've been working in this industry. This is actually my 20th year working in this industry. I've worked in the City of London for the majority of that time, and I'm in London right now. But the key thing about the industry that was in Europe, which is now key in Africa, is choice. There has to be that choice. There has to be that transparency, and that's kind of what Scope Markets are trying to bring across to South Africa. We're trying to bring that transparency of trading, that transparency about what you're doing, how you're doing it, because we know that trading is a complicated task, right? And it's hard enough to trade. I've been doing it for 20 years and I still find it tough now. Hence why I still do a day job and I'm not sitting counting my millions somewhere else. Trading is not necessarily easy, but what we try and do and what we want to do at Scope Markets is kind of give people that transparency of how to trade, teach people how to trade. And education is a massive part of what we do at Scope Markets, especially across Africa, because we offer all of our education for free. So there's no charges for any of the education offering that we do in any of our offices and any of Scope Markets' global operations. Everything educationally is absolutely free, and because we want to teach people how to trade. We want people to make money when they trade. And there's a common misconception when it comes to a retail trader or a retail brokerage like Scope Markets or any of the other ones. And that common misconception is that the broker wants you to lose money so we can make money. And that's been a misconception for my whole time that I've ever worked in this industry. And that obviously is not necessarily true. It's not something that brokerages want. And I'll tell you exactly what a brokerage wants. A brokerage wants successful clients, because a brokerage makes money on the spread. We make money on the spread between the buy price and the sell price, as I'm sure all of your listeners and viewers know. So the more trades that are placed, the more money a brokerage will make. And if it was the purpose of a brokerage for us to come in, bring on new clients, make them or hope that they lose money, and then move on to the next client, it doesn't make business sense for that to happen. The more money a client has in their account, the more trades and more active they are at trading, the more a brokerage will make off of the spread. and that is the business model that works for the majority. So to the misconception of clients losing money and us wanting clients to lose money is one that's been around for such a long time. But that's why our education is so key. That's why we're trying to teach people and educate people along those ways. We want you to be a better trader. We don't want you to be a bad trader. We want you to be a better trader. And that's why it's such an important thing to us.
So it sounds like you're describing an A-book broker. Like a lot of people in the industry, especially retail traders, are aware of the difference between an A-book and a B-book. Now, I'm under the impression that the B-book is normally when you're trading against the balance sheet of the broker. So every time you win, the broker's losing, and if you lose, then the broker wins. Are you saying that it's not the case with the scope markets?
No, I'm not saying that at all. No, I'm not saying that at all. The dealing desk is run with like the majority of brokerages is run with a split book, and you'll find the majority of brokers around the world now operate a split book. Some are B book clients, some are A book, but the differences are changeable. Software changes that on a daily basis as to where clients are based, and it's not based on necessarily any of the key. Or anything to do with a client or anything to do with any part of what they're trading. It's mainly to do with how the company's balance sheet looks at the time, but that doesn't change how what the brokerage wants from its clients, because it needs successful clients. It needs people to perform well in order to keep clients going. And because one of the key things is, of course, like any business, it doesn't have to be a brokerage. The most expensive thing in many brokerages is marketing. So marketing, and if you speak to a lot of CEOs, I've been part of marketing teams for a long time in my career, and a lot of times marketing is the bottomless pit of money that doesn't necessarily produce much return in it. But of course, it's far more expensive for a company to acquire brand new clients than it is to keep the clients that they have successful and happy. Retention is massive, absolutely massive in this industry, because it costs so much. And this is the transparency I'm talking about. It just costs so much for us to get new clients that we want to keep the clients that we have happy. Of course, we spend money on marketing, and we're a worldwide broker where we will look to gain new clients all over the world. But keeping those clients that we have and keeping them happy and keeping them educated is key to us.
Okay, great. Can you just talk about your education packages and things that you offer to traders? I think a lot of South African traders are still new to the market. A lot of people ask me, like, can you teach me how to trade? And I don't feel comfortable enough to do that. What do you guys offer new traders?
Yeah, well, of course, what we try and offer to the majority of people is first of all, that introduction. We don't assume the knowledge, which is what happens a lot of the time within this industry. You find brokerages tend to assume a level of knowledge. We won't assume anything with our clients. We will actively try to find out where they are in their journey of trading, because excuse me, trading, of course, is a journey. We do focus on that journey the whole time. We've all been on one, whether you work in a brokerage or you're in any way part of the financial markets. You are on this journey, and we try to find out where people are on that journey in their trading life. So we first of all will introduce them to the concepts, to what trading is. So that's how we have, obviously, in this day and age where the pandemic is sweeping the world, we're unable to meet a lot of our clients on a face-to-face basis. But what we do is a lot of webinars. But what we are keen to do as things progress and as things get that little bit better is to meet people face-to-face. But our webinars introduce people to trading first of all. At that point, when our account managers can speak to clients and they can understand the needs of our clients, we will then focus on where you are on your journey. If you are at the beginner stage, we will begin with those basics of trading, introducing not necessarily to. There's always this course that you'll see probably, if you Google it, you'll see it millions of times across the internet, which is Introduction to Forex Trading. I mean, we've all seen it anywhere. If you put it on YouTube, I'm sure there's hundreds of them. But it's not necessarily introduction to Forex trading. It's an introduction to the mechanics of how you trade, what you do, how it works, what the key terms mean. So that's how we start people off, because it's a very jargon-based industry, as we know. So we start people off in those areas. We have an education and analysis team, which I run, which covers our operations around the globe, and we will produce analysis on the markets on a daily basis. So we do videos, we do podcasts, we do written articles about where the markets are going. So we give clients that information about what's moving the market. But as we say, keeping people their knowledge levels up is the best thing. So we get them into that introduction to trading. Then we move them through the stages that we have. So things will move on a little bit more in depth. We cover technical analysis. We cover fundamental analysis. We cover how to spot your charting movements, how to marry fundamental analysis and technical analysis together to create better or more successful trades. But we also have third parties, because we know there is that again, this misconception from a brokerage is to a brokerage wants to take my money away from me. So I've worked in education for the majority of my time in the market. So that's 20 years. So I've been a market analyst for 20 years, teaching people how to trade and putting my knowledge about the markets out into the media. And one of those key things, of course, we know is that trust side of the market. So we get third parties in to talk to our clients as well, because we know that maybe people not necessarily don't trust us, but will say, well, if I have an account with Scope Markets, why are they telling me how to trade when I know that they want to take my money at the end of the day? So we don't just educate ourselves, we vet and we look at third parties from educational sites, from media players, from traders, professional traders in the market, and we ask those people to do webinars and seminars for us as well, or be part of our educational package. So it's not just the same voices coming at you; it's different people with no agenda, no affiliation with Scope Markets that are helping with the educational process. So we like to take along this journey. Now, in South Africa, we're fairly new to the industry. As you know, we have been there a long time, but in terms of licenses and be able to push to promote what we do in South Africa, that's a fairly new thing. So in the next few weeks and months, you'll see more and more from Scope Markets advertising our educational packages. In fact, this morning I've had a meeting about our full rollout of webinars and education in South Africa to keep that moving on. And it's all about innovating at the end and kind of not giving the same information. Give the same information, yes, to new people coming in, but of course what we want to do is make sure that people that, as I said before, from the retention side, are getting more and new information about the markets.
Well, thanks for introducing South Africa to my audience. Can you tell us just a little bit about your presence here in South Africa? I think you recently came into the market and got your FSCA license. Can you just tell us a bit about the process, please, and why you decided to come to South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, South Africa is a key market, as the whole of Africa is for us, and the way we see this industry here is that what I found stark about South Africa and about the Africa in general from a financial point of view is the knowledge level. So I worked in the industry here in the UK and in Europe in the infancy from the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s to now, and the knowledge level that people that I've seen from people in South Africa and Kenya and Nigeria has been so high compared to what we saw from a beginner level in Europe. So that told us that there's a massive boom potential, and there's a massive potential for a client base in South Africa to push forward. So that's why we've been looking at for a long time at getting the licenses. So as you say, we have the FSCA license now, which is a long long process and a very strict process, which is, of course, regulation is key for a lot of for many clients and for all brokerages. So having regulation in as many areas as we possibly can is key to the transparency that I spoke about earlier, to the key fact of what we can educate clients on and how we can talk to our clients. It makes life so much better for us and for the client if we are a bit more of if we are a regulated broker in a lot of these areas, and that's now the case in South Africa. So it's been a long process. It's been a lot of hard work, but we see massive value in South Africa with the potential for so much growth and for successful clients to be in South Africa. As I said, the model is we want successful clients to perform well, and if we can educate and speak to, and this is the key thing, we want to speak to as many South Africans who have an interest in finance, who have an interest in this area, as we possibly can, and get them to become our clients and move forward on their trading journey with us. But it's been a long process, but we're finally getting there, and we can hopefully start reaping the rewards, and we can start offering a lot more out to South African clients.
Can you speak a bit about your the practical aspects of trading, like the trading conditions, which markets you offer, and that kind of thing?
Sorry, you cut out for a second. Then just ask me that question again.
Sorry, I asked if you could explain a bit about the trading conditions that Scope Markets provides. Like, for instance, do you use MT4, MT5, which trading platforms? What about your spreads and things like that? Things that are really important to traders.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, from a standard point of view, from a point of view of trading and platforms, we're an MT4 broker. So MT4 broker with MT5 options. So people can trade on various platforms. We have bespoke platforms that we are trying to integrate around the world. That has been running for a little while in Kenya, and hopefully will be rolled out in these areas as well. So that bespoke platform is again an app-based mobile platform with a browser base as well. So it's slightly different to the MT4 that many people, of course, love. But the option we want to give clients options. That's the key thing. That we have an option from one to the other. So that's the key. That's the key thing. In terms of what we offer in terms of spreads, we have. I mean, I'm always very reluctant. I've been doing these sorts of discussions for a long time. I'm always very reluctant when people ask me about spreads, because you get every single brokerage ever will go, well, we have the tightest spreads in the market, we have the best execution, we have this and we have that. But that's a given, that people you have to have that these days. If you don't have that, you may as well not be a brokerage. So when I see lots of brokerages on interviews and various different things banging on about the tightness of their spreads and their execution, I just think, well, I mean, congratulations. I mean, you have good execution and you have tight spreads, but you can't operate as a brokerage without tight spreads and good execution, because clients will just go elsewhere. So it becomes impossible. So yeah, I mean, we have tight spreads. Are they the tightest in the industry? No, but are they tight and competitive with everyone else? Of course they are, because they absolutely have to be. Otherwise, we just don't get the business, So the execution is there, the tight spreads are there, and of course we offer the variety of trading platforms that clients can trade on. We're looking to expand all the time in terms of what we can offer. So obviously there's currency pairs, there's across Africa we're offering equity markets, we're offering stock specific in different areas, different locations. We're looking to expand. So in areas in different parts of Africa, we're looking for share dealing licenses. We're looking to expanding different areas. So in South Africa, it's a case of taking one step at a time. So we've just got the FSCA license, so we're moving ahead from that point of view, and that will give us, as I said, the opportunity to finally start to speak to our clients on a more personal level, and find out what their needs are, and that's really key for us.
Okay, brilliant. What about Islamic accounts? A lot of my followers are Muslim and they love
Oh, I've
Islamic
lost
accounts
you
where they don't
here.
have to. Sorry, I don't know. It's raining here quite badly, so it could be that, and we are losing connection because of that. Can you hear me now, James?
Ah, yes, that's better. That's better. I've got you.
Okay, great. I asked the question about Islamic accounts. A lot of my followers are Muslim, and they like trading with swap-free accounts. Do you guys offer those?
We're very flexible. We kind of look at we take accounts and IBs and various different product offerings on a case by case basis. We really don't rule any sort of accounts out. We take them on everything on its individual merits, but we are very much a bespoke broker. We can manage accounts for you. We can create and highlight accounts in different ways, you know. Whatever our clients want, we're very flexible. We can move in different ways and offer pretty much give or take, you know. Pretty much we can cater for most needs.
Okay, and then you mentioned IBs. That's where I come in. I'm an IB, an introducing broker, and that's the role I'm playing with Scope Markets. Can you explain a bit about the benefits for being an IB of Scope Markets? What do IBs get?
Yeah, from an IB point of view, of course, there's a lot of ways that we're trying to bring IBs in. Now, obviously, a lot of the details about how IBs can come in is all dealt with as I said on a bespoke basis. So we're very much a case of opening dialogue with people that are IBs with us and want to be IBs with us, and really having that discussion, because we, again, and I've mentioned this a number of times from the beginning, we're about transparency. We're about highlighting what's best for our customers and our clients and our IBs and whoever it may be, and making sure the deal works for everyone involved. So it's very difficult for me to say here's a set list of things that every IB or every client gets, because if clients want something different or IBs want something different, we will, if we can, shift to make that possible. So a lot of our IBs talk about the education offering and how much education can we push out to our for IBs, and of course, again, it depends what people want. People talk about how obviously IBs will ask about how they can split accounts down and the various technicals behind everything. And again, we're flexible on how we can do those things. So it's difficult to give a set list, because we will just open the dialogue and speak with you and see exactly what we can do.
Okay, brilliant. And to conclude, can you tell me a little bit about how Scope Markets is dealing with the short squeeze in silver that's going on? Are you guys doing anything particular about that?
No, we're not. We're not at the moment. We're not doing anything particular. I mean, what is really interesting, and I've done a lot of media interviews. I've done four radio interviews this morning. One for Bloomberg, one for Jazz FM. So a lot of radio interviews in music channels this morning, actually. So Jazz FM this morning has interviewed me, as well as Bloomberg, about these various different about the silver move, GameStop, and AMC, of course. So the big movement. But I mean, what I think is key about this is, I know a lot of brokerages are changing margins and looking to try and limit their exposure to these sorts of things. But this just really shows the power of the retail trader. You know, for a long time, when I was first in this industry 18, 20 years ago, the questions that would come to me was, well, how is my trading ever going to impact the market? I'm so insignificant to what the wider market is doing, and there was always that situation of saying, well, maybe your individual movement or your individual one trade is like that, yeah, potentially, but as a whole, retail traders have so much power. The more things grow, the power really does show through. And I think now is just showing exactly what sort of, number one, opportunities, and number two, the power that the retail trader has these days. So at the moment, we're not looking at, we're not changing anything at the moment. We're obviously very fluid on the situation, as we have to be around any sort of market movement. But at the moment, we see this as retail traders finally flexing a bit of muscle.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, James. I really appreciated you coming here and talking to us a bit about scope markets. For anyone watching, if you are interested in joining, then please click on the link in the description below. It's also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And if you do, you can also get access to James and his regular... How often do you do your analysis on that, James, on the markets?
Our analysis is daily. So we currently have a blog, and our blog is up, and we post all of our content goes on social media, so our videos and everything goes on social media. But we're right on the cusp of launching a brand new website, which will have all of our analysis from all of my team on there. So it's hopefully very soon. But you can find us all on a daily basis.
Okay, brilliant. James, thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you come onto my channel once again sometime to talk more about scope markets.
Absolutely, would be a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.